I got injured in 1978 from a snow skiing accident I had in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Had my surgery done in Denver, and then I flew to Miami for therapy.
Palm Beach County resident Fred Sandberg has been wheelchair-bound for more than 40 years, but he hasn't let that stop him from staying active or advocating for other physically disabled individuals who want to stay healthy.
It was learned very early on that people told me that you can't do this and you can't do that, and I told them, well, yes I can and yes I will, and subsequently I did.
After his spinal cord injury and subsequent rehabilitation in the late 70s, he was able to successfully rejoin the South Florida community, becoming part of an important support group.
I joined the support group that had been started up a little earlier, called the Palm Beach White Tracks, and we ended up being a support group, a basketball team, and a social club.
And after a few years in the Palm Beach Wide Tracks advocating for the physically disabled community, he got an idea that would benefit the community for decades after its inception.
In 1980, I got the idea that I wanted a wheelchair accessible, at that time, heart trail / exercise course, because all the heart trails exercise courses were on wood chips.
Recognizing the mental and physical benefits of an accessible exercise course, Sandberg and other members of the group lobbied the county's Parks and Recreation Department to develop what was called back then a wheelchair-accessible heart trail inside John Prince Park.
The county paid for the stations. Parks and Rec installed these stations, and in 1983 we had an original grand opening.
It was a game changer that came before the Americans with Disabilities Act, the hand cycle, and even wheelchair rugby. And it served Sandberg and the disabled community for decades. But with time,
it just got weathered like everything else does and got worn out, needed to be updated and replaced.
PBC Parks officials once again worked with Sandberg to make changes to what's now called the wheelchair course. Changes like new equipment, wider pathways, and additions for children, which were celebrated in 2018, 35 years after the original course. The mile-long wheelchair course includes 8 stations where visitors can stretch, do chin-ups, rope climb, and more, all while enjoying nature.
We made a lot of really positive changes. The crews that worked on the heart trail put their heart and soul into everything, from the signs to the stations that were all handmade, all hand-painted, to the metal that was fabricated and custom painted and installed. My hat's off to the Parks and Rec folks of the trades. They put their heart and soul, like I said, into this, and they did it because they wanted to do it, not because they were being paid to do it, and there's a difference.
Now, Sandberg, a former Boston Marathon competitor with a long history of advocating for the physically disabled community, is calling for this community to take advantage of the course that he fought for in the 80s and helped improve decades later.
Everybody needs to know it's here so they can come and have a good time and enjoy it and have a lot of fun and get some exercise and fresh air at the same time.
And though it was originally designed for spinal cord injured individuals,
by the way it's designed now, it can be used by people, for example, with autism, people with Down syndrome, people that are amputees. It's not necessarily just strictly a spinal cord / wheelchair exercise trail anymore.
Sandberg says the course and its stations can help athletes of all levels work on their abilities instead of focusing on their disabilities. Visit pbcparks.com for more information about the wheelchair course and other opportunities for healthy, happy living.